So we'll bring the meeting back into order at 7:56 PM.
Oh,
And are there any motions?
yes.
Mrs. Stanek.
I would like to make a motion to please add to the agenda the Culture and Arts Commission to speak with Mrs. Bellavance, to speak with regard to the Halloween event.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Chair votes aye, motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is discussion with the Culture and Arts Commission regarding the downtown trick-or-treat event. I summed that up a little bit for you, Karen.
There you go.
You're welcome. And speaking on for the Culture and Arts Commission,
Is Linda Bellavance, 7 Mulsick Road. Thank you for adding us to the agenda. There was some type of miscommunication. The reason we came tonight is, I know Kurt's aware, but I don't know if anybody else is aware. We just wanted to bring it to your attention. As you know, we have a trick-or-treat event the Saturday before Thanksgiving every year.
Halloween.
Halloween, I'm
but
sorry.
if you'd like to have one
Yeah,
before
no,
Thanksgiving,
no,
that'd be all right too.
The Saturday before. And this year will be our 13th. So for 12 years in a row, we've had it. Judy was approached about maybe a month ago by a gentleman from an organization who wanted to run something in conjunction with our event on the same day downtown. It would be a food truck event. And they talked about it, and Judy basically, and she talked to the committee, and we basically said that we did not really want them to have the event on the same day as ours, for the very simple reason, as we all know, parking downtown is horrendous. And we bring in anywhere between 600 to 800 children on that day. You figure a couple of kids per car, that's a lot of cars that we have to park downtown. So for no other reason other than another event bringing people that have nothing to do with trick-or-treating, that are going to come down and take up parking places, we feel that that is going to hinder the town's families. They're going to drive downtown, they're going to have these 3 kids dressed up, you know, in the car, and they're going to be driving around looking for a place to park, and they're not going to find one, and they're going to leave. So Judy told the gentleman that we didn't think, you know, out of all the other days of the year, pick a day when we don't have anything going on. And she thought that the gentleman said, well, let me get back to my people and we'll talk when you get back from vacation. She went away for a couple of weeks. While she was gone, the advertisement for the event was put in the paper, that they are having it. It's our day. It's from like 10 to what time? 10 to 4. Our event is from like noon to 3. Unfortunately, the event is going to be held, as I know that this is, you know, there's really not much that you people can do. It's on private property, and it would be in the Bank of America parking lot. And the person that is running the event has something to do with the building. I don't know if he's part owner or he just knows someone, you know, that owns the building, but he's been given permission to use the Bank of America parking lot for his event, bring in these food trucks. You know, it's a worthy organization. I mean, we're not.
It's Project Purple.
Yes, it's Project Purple. We're just saying out of 365 days, why do you pick one? It's not like we have an abundance of parking. We don't, and that is going to be a problem. So we just thought, and you know, we're in July, we just thought we would bring it before you. You know, he's already put out advertisement. He just never bothered to even get back to Judy. He just went and, you know, put the advertisement out that he's having this event, this food truck event. I don't know how many trucks are involved. I just know he said he was going to have raffles, he was going to have games, he was going to have food trucks, and he's looking to make money for his organization, which is perfectly fine, but it's really going to put a cramp in our day. It definitely is. I mean, like I said, it's year number 13. If you've ever been down there, I know Karen has, because you've had tables down there. It's a zoo. I mean, it's like organized chaos because you get like 600 kids, you know, and dogs and
Plus the parade.
right, and then
Right.
we close the street for about maybe a half an hour, and they go down Main to the post office, around the block, back down Bank, and make the circle again. They close the street to traffic, and we have the band. The middle school band comes, and I always get a lot of complaints from the parents of the band members because they have to meet at the four corners of Bank and First, but the parents can't get anywhere near there to get the kids with the tubas and the whatever dropped off because there's no place to park. And as you know, we can't use this parking lot over here at all. So parking is an issue. It's going to be an issue. And we just wanted you people to know that, you know, we're very disappointed that it's happening the way it is. You know, it's getting to the point now, it's very difficult to do anything in Seymour. As hard and as, you know, bad as I feel to say that, that's exactly, you know, you try to do something good, you try to do something free, you try to do something for the town, and it's like, you know, going upstream. It's like you're just so many variables that go against you. But we just wanted you to know that this is the dilemma that we have. We won't cancel, but depending on how the turnout is and, you know, what kind of feedback we get, you know, no guarantee that we'll do it again. Because it's a lot of work, you know, and nobody wants to do a lot of work and get complaints and, you know, and not have the turnout that you expect it to be. So, any questions?
Well, just a few things to add.
Okay.
Project Purple is renting office space in the Bank of America building. So that is their new home. They had no idea of how we do things in Seymour, and they just went ahead and scheduled their process. So Rory and I, well, I shouldn't say I, but Rory's had conversations with them. I thought they weren't doing this date anymore, Rory. No, they're still doing it? Because they had some other events, and we tried to explain to them that you just can't have large crowds of people in downtown Seymour without the police, without emergency management going through and everything. So they're aware of all that now. So we'll see what happens. They still have to get some permits from the police, I believe. So
Even when it's on private property?
they're going to still need police presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they'll be there anyway because they come for us.
Yeah.
So they're almost like riding on our back, you know,
Right.
on our coattails.
Yeah.
You know, we get the police and they're golden.
Right.
You know? So
Is it the front parking lot or the back parking lot?
That I don't know. I just know it would be in the Bank of America parking lot,
Back one right here.
the back one. And, you know, it's the parking. I have no problem with
Right.
having the event, but and he says he brings in thousands of people. That I don't know. I've never been to one of their events, just their events. He said, I'll bring in, you know, a couple of thousand people. And we're thinking, that's a lot of cars.
Right.
You know, and we need the space for the cars. So that's what the problem is. The parking is the problem. Having two big events, like you said, on the same day at the same time.
I'm not sure how he's going to fit a couple thousand people in either of the Bank of
I don't
America
either.
parking lots.
I don't either, but that's what he said. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
because the Bank of America parking lot is private parking, so we wouldn't be able to use that, but that's not the point. The point is that the other people parking.
It's the people, oh yeah, the people
Wow.
that were coming, yes, that are going to park on Main Street, are going to park, you know, down by Zoe's, you know, that's going to be the problem.
Or circuit breaker.
Because it's a problem, parking is a problem on Trick or Treat Day because we bring in so many people.
Right.
You know, they do park, you know, far away, and people have even suggested that we do, you know, parking like at Chatfield or at Bungay and run a shuttle down, but that costs money, and we don't really have that kind of money, so we've never entertained that. We've just say, well, you just got to go with what you've got.
Actually, if you wanted to do that, we can probably cover the cost of having Wes come in for 3 or 4 hours. I mean, probably it's going to cost $100. If that would alleviate, not because of this, I'm just saying in general.
Mm.
You know, now that we have Wes, who's very available,
Mm-hmm.
I guess for lack of a better term,
Mhm.
so we can certainly cover that for you. But it would be, we can cover it now without a problem, but it would be good if you added that into
Mhm.
your budget maybe
Mhm.
for next year,
Mm-hmm.
where maybe you put in $2,000 as an example, or $1,000 for bus
right.
type
Because
things for activities.
they are expensive, yes, and that wasn't something that we had planned.
Right, I mean, we can use
Yeah.
the senior bus, I'm saying,
Mhm,
run
mhm.
that back and forth.
Yeah. So anyway, we just wanted to make you aware of, what was
Something
going
better than
on.
nothing.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
What's the point?
The
What's-
point is, we're doing something for the children
We're
of
talking about
Seymour.
two different things right now.
I'm in agreement with Ms. Bellavance on the whole thing. It's not fair that this guy is gonna go ahead and do that after they kindly asked him not to. But that's not something that unfortunately we can control. I mean, they still have to go from permits, and maybe the police department won't give them the permits.
But why don't we have to approve it?
Why would we have to approve something on private property?
Because they're using a public road
But
to
you
get
don't-
to the private property.
So if you have a picnic at your house, or you have a party at your house, people drive and park on a public road, should we be approving that?
Main Street is a state road.
Right,
Right?
Why don't they need a permit?
or,
For what? If they're not on the road,
Access the property.
they're driving out.
they have access to the property, it's approved parking lot. They have approved,
No, the approved parking lot is back here.
no, they have they have a parking lot on Main Street.
The Bank of America has a parking lot.
They have two parking lots for Bank of America.
I thought that was railroad.
No, it's Bank of America. That's why it's chained off.
They'll actually ticket you there if you park for the train station.
Yeah.
Change off for the parade.
No, saying that because the new owners don't want anyone using it because of the liability. We've had conversations with the owners about opening up to try to approve parking. They don't want to do that because of the liability.
But they'll
And
come
we
on
can't
trick or
force them.
treat day.
I mean, it's their decision.
But I'm trying.
I know.
I would say.
I mean, we would
if-
try, there's nothing we can do, though. It's
No,
not
I
that we
realize
don't
that.
understand their
If the
plight, and I agree with you.
volume of people coming in if it's gonna be 1,000 people, that.
For
there
them
is-
or for us?
For them,
Yeah.
they're claiming they can bring
That's
in
what they
1,000
said.
people.
Mhm.
And the police say that there's a police presence required for them, then they need to cover part of the cost for the police and take that off your plate.
That would
Yeah,
be
Cover
good.
the total cost of the police.
Well, that one, I don't
Well,
know.
if they're having the event and they require the police too, it would have to be 50/50.
If,
Because both events require police there. They
Right.
had them there, whether they're, this organization is having their event or not. But they should not get it for free just because you're having the event and have already agreed you need the police and have to cover that cost.
Well, Linda, let me ask you, how many police are you required to have for this trick or treat?
Well, I really don't know. Paul takes care of it, and they just come down and they block off, from under the light. They stop the traffic. They bring a couple of cars. There's
At Main and Bank?
Yeah, at the traffic light, they put a car there because the kids come out of Bank, they take a right, they go up to the post office. So they have a car also in front of like CBS, so people can't come from South Main Street. And that goes on for about a half an hour.
But my
And then-
question is, in your budget,
But
how
we don't
much-
pay. We
You don't
don't
pay the
for
police?
No,
No.
we don't. We don't. Now, we get, what is the officer that we get all the time? Community service, the community officer that, like, walks the beat downtown is usually, for anything that we have, is usually enough police protection for our concerts and for Trick or Treat Day. And they're on duty and they walk the beat downtown. When we started to do the parade, they bring a couple of cars down, a couple of police, they block off the road for half an hour, and then they leave. And they've never billed us.
they do with existing staff.
Yeah, whoever's on duty, right.
Yeah.
And it's only, like I said, about a half an hour that the parade goes on, and then when the parade's over, they all leave. And basically just the community officer just walks Main and Bank and First, and he has a presence down there. And then at 3 o'clock, they're gone. So anyway,
Right.
we realize it's private property, there's not much you can do about it, but we just wanted you to know that, it's just another stumbling block of, something that we're trying to do for the town, and it's just, after a while, it gets a little old, So that's our dilemma. So we just wanted you people to know, and we will have our event, and we'll just see how it goes, but, you know, there's going to be a lot of people. And we were willing to, no, I shouldn't even say willing to work. He said to Judy, I'll call you when you get back. And while she was gone, the advertisement went in the newspaper. So that was like, they didn't really even care about discussing it or moving it to another date. It was that's when they were going to do it. And why they had to pick that one date, I have no idea. But they, you know, whether or not they thought they would piggyback, you know, having police already downtown, I have no idea. But it's like, why would you want to have an event in the midst of a big event that's already going on?
Or the option for the shuttle, like Kurt suggested, just so that we have an alternative parking.
Well, I think the shuttle should be something you guys have for all your events, if there's a need for it, not just because of this.
Right.
If that'll help bring more people in town, or makes, if it's seniors, if it makes them feel more comfortable to park at the community center and ride the bus over. Sorry. I think that's something that we should do, and we can absolutely find money for. That's not an issue. I don't, it's not going to help you
No, it's
with
not.
this.
No. But just so that you're aware of, you know, what's going on. And, all right?
Yep.
Thank you so much. And,
Thank you.
Thank you for putting us on the
Oh, you're
agenda.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay. All right, item number 8, appointments. We have 3 appointments. Karen Stanek, Memorial, oh, never mind. Actually, we have the appointments before us. To give everybody an opportunity to review. At this point, I'll entertain a motion to accept the appointments of July 17, 2018 as presented.
So,
Motion by Len, second by Anne Marie. Is there any discussion?
it's hot in here.
Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Chair votes aye. Motion passes 7-0. Okay. Item number 9, tax refunds and abatements. We have 2 abatements before us. I'm going to draw your attention first to July 3rd, 2018. Can I have a motion to accept the tax collector's report as presented? Motion by Len, second by Anne Marie. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Chair votes aye. Motion passes 7-0. And then now if we can look at the tax collector's report for July 17, 2018. Can I have a motion to approve as presented? Motion by Len. Wow, second from Stefan from the corner. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Chair votes aye. Motion passes 7-0. We have actually 2 transfers before us tonight. I'm going to go through these just so everybody kind of understands what we're doing. Over the last couple of years, we've taken a lot of time to build into the budget monies for reoccurring expenses. So things that we know that we have to be replacing on a consistent basis. Public Works, as an example, we have the money built in, so we're constantly replacing our trucks and things. One of the areas, or 2 of the areas that we did not have, or actually 3 areas, that we didn't have any money in the budget for, number 1 was fire chief's vehicles. Number 2 was vehicles for our custodial and maintenance staff. And 3 is for emergency management. And generally what happens is what these 3 groups tend to get are hand-me-downs, generally from the police department. And our police department, through no fault of their own, tends to beat up our vehicles pretty good. So when we do get these vehicles, there's generally a lot of wear and tear on them, a lot of maintenance and repair. So a few of the emergency management folks got together, police, fire, and emergency management, and put together a plan as to how we can replace vehicles on some type of a consistent basis. They also included the custodial staff, because the custodial staff's trucks actually generally come from Aquarian. We get hand-me-downs. The trucks that we have, one of them has had substantial work done to it. Thankfully, one of the custodians has the ability to do that and has done a lot of things at no cost or very limited cost. But these trucks are tired and unsafe. So the plan is the town will spend about $42,000 a year, which will give us the opportunity to purchase 3 vehicles every 3 years. and then we will continue to roll those vehicles over. The current plan, one vehicle is going to go to the fire department for a new chief's vehicle. One vehicle is going to go to the custodians to give them a brand-new vehicle. The third vehicle is going to go to the police department, who in turn is going to take one of their newer Expeditions, give that to the fire department for a chief's vehicle, which in turn will allow the fire department to give one of their vehicles to emergency management. So we're going to be shuffling cars around. This plan, as I said, once the money's placed in the budget, it will roll over every 3 years, just like our other ones. The cars will all have $1 buyouts, and after the third year. 3 years from now, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to keep moving trucks so our people have the appropriate safe equipment to get the jobs done. The trucks that are going to be purchased, and we're still waiting on some final pricing because the fire department wanted to change the vehicle that they were getting from the original quote, which is fine. But it's going to be two 2018 Ford Expedition XLs. And so one will go to the police department, one will go to the fire department. And then the custodial staff is going to get a 2019 Ford F-350 Super Cab, which is going to come with a lift gate and a 9-foot plow. Our custodians actually do a lot of the plowing for municipal buildings, helping out our public works staff. So the initial quote that I received, but that's going to change slightly because of the change in the Expedition, was $40,582.82, which would be a payment. I'm sorry, $114,000. I apologize. $987, which would be an annual payment of $40,582. So we're going to need to transfer some money around. I've had conversations with the chairman of the Board of Finance. He is on board with the transfers. So the first transfer, if you can look at control item number 14. Control item number 14 has money being moved out of the fire department's budget and out of the emergency management budget, the total of $6,225. And that's going to be moved over into a new capital line item, which will be referred to as fleet replacement. At the bottom, under the detail, you can see the breakdown of how we're going to be doing that. So we're going to use $6,225 from this transfer. We're going to use $25,000 from another transfer. We're going to use $8,000 in insurance reimbursement during the tornado. Our emergency management vehicle truck had a tree dropped on it, so we're going to get an insurance replacement from that. And then out of an emergency management grant, and if anybody has a specific question, Tom's here, you can answer that, $3,275. So that should cover the cost of the amount. And we're going to break this up over two transfers. The $25,000 transfer, which is control number 1, that is coming out of contingency. We built some extra money into the budget for the potential that something like this would become available. So we're going to move $25,000 out of that line item that we have prepared. All right, so let's start with control number 14. So we're going to be, the request is being made by myself. We're moving $2,225 out of line number 542-350, and we're moving $4,000 out of line 550-350, and we're moving the total $6,225 into line 530-867. I have a motion to do so. Motion by Len, second by Anne Marie. Under discussion, does anybody have any questions? No, it's a lot of moving around, but. Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Chair votes aye, motion passes 7-0. Next is control number 1. Request is being made by myself, the amount of $25,000. We'll be moving that amount out of contingency, line 530-870, and that'll go into the newly created fleet replacement line, which is line 530-867, in the amount of $25,000. I have a motion to do so.
Second.
Motion by Len, second by Al. Is there any discussion?
What's left in contingency?
In that contingency line, there was $102,000 in that
Thank you.
line. That's not regular contingency.
I understand.
This is a separate contingency line. That contingency line that we're pulling it out is also where we have the $50,000 for the extra SRO for the schools. And just as a final note too, while we'll be passing this, that still needs to be passed by the Finance Board on next Tuesday. Okay, so hearing no other questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Chair votes aye, motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Okay, correspondence, we have a few pieces of correspondence in front of us. We have a letter from the Connecticut State Library sent to our town clerk, Mrs. McMurray, I just like saying that, letting us know that we received the state grant for $4,500 for historic document preservation grant. We have a letter from Wendy Rossi resigning as her committee seat as secretary for Friends of the Broad Street Park. And then also another letter from Wendy resigning her seat as vice president for EMS Oversight Commission. We have a letter from Tamara and Lawrence Lacey. They live on Moss Avenue, asking if we can do some work with regard to some of the paving on Moss Avenue, which is actually on the schedule. Also from the Hickory Hill Condominium Association, asking the exact same thing. So I think these letters actually came together. We have an email from resident Joseph Luciano with regards to ADA compliant has been filed. Yeah, a complaint has been filed with the U.S. Department of Justice against the town of Seymour on the matter of the absence of level top landings at the curb cut constructed at the Columbus Street entrance to 16 Bank Street Senior Disabled Housing. He has asked that this letter be attached to the record, which we will do so as part of his public comment. And just as a side note for that, all this is being addressed in the work that's being done, which will be starting in 2 weeks. And then he sent in a second letter, again asking it to be attached as correspondence with the Board of Selectmen, and the subject is hazards deficiencies on downtown Seymour access routes. You can see all that, and that will be attached with the meeting minutes. And then the one last letter which you all received, at this point I will let Deputy Selectman Green, well, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, Kurt. It's a little bit unusual, but you'll know why in a moment. If you'll indulge me, I'm actually going to read my letter into the record, if that's all right.
Sure.
It says, Dear Kurt, please accept this as formal notice of my intention to resign from the Seymour Board of Selectmen and the Seymour Ordinance Committee, effective at noon tomorrow. As most of you know, or some of you know already, Tori and I have decided to purchase a home in the town of Bethel, and will be moving this month. As such, I will no longer be a resident of the town of Seymour, and will be ineligible to serve out the remainder of my elected term in office. For the past 10 years, it has been my distinct pleasure to represent the people of the town of Seymour on 8 different town boards and committees, in addition to representing the people of the 105th District as a member of the Connecticut General Assembly. I take immense pride in knowing that I've been able to serve the people of Seymour in so many different capacities to make our town a better place to live in. I want to thank you for your continued faith in my service, and I want to thank the members of the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance, and all of the other boards and committees for making my time in Seymour so incredibly rewarding. Most of all, I'd like to thank the people of the town of Seymour for putting their trust in me throughout the years. I hope that through my years of service, I have rewarded their confidence. Though my family and I are moving to another town, always know that I consider Seymour to be home. Respectfully, most sincerely, Len Green. That's hard to do.
Thank you, Len. Well, thank you for leaving, but thank you for reading that. You will certainly be missed. We started this together way back in, what, 2007? 2009, so. Okay, so that does correspondence. Just based on the charter and the spectacular breakdown by Attorney LeClaire, which cost us $12 million to do, The Board of Selectmen has 30 days in which to replace the seat, so it is my intention at our first meeting in August to present to this board the lens replacement to be voted on and approved by the board. So with that, we'll move on to item number 12, which is public comment. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Oh, it's hot, Fred, come on. No, I'm kidding.
And he's like in his producer.
It's right.
Fred Stanek, 22 North Benham Road. I would like to thank Selectman Green for his years of service to the town of Seymour. At many levels, I think that he has performed an outstanding service to the town of Seymour. Sad to see you leave, but thank you. Also, with regard to the comments from the Culture and Arts Commission, I do think that this board should speak to the organization that wishes to compete with the trick-or-treat event and urge that organization to maybe reconsider the date that it wants to conduct that event. There are a lot of issues raised by Culture and Arts. I think those issues should be conveyed to the organization. I think this board should do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stanek. Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Hearing no other public comment, we will move on to Selectmen's public comment. We will start with Selectman Bohemiak.
Thank you. First, I just want to wish you, Len, the best of luck going forward. I know this is a good move for your family and you personally. I would like to say that I have enjoyed greatly serving with you. You've been a great fellow board member and somebody I've learned a lot from. So, best of luck in the future, and thank you for your service to the town. That's it. That's all I'm going to talk about tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Karen?
I would also like to say that it's been an honor to serve with Len Green. And I will
Thank you.
also, I would like to reiterate that I totally support culture and arts in their attempt to give the kids of this town, I mean, as a former teacher, to give the kids something to look forward to. And while my family has personally been touched by cancer, and I don't disagree with the Project Purple, I think they could pick a better date. I don't think we need another situation as what happened with Founder's Day. And I really think that we need to preserve this event for the children of the town. And on another note, and again, you probably all are sick of hearing me talk about Holbrook Road, but again, I drove down there the other day, and the number of dead trees between Cemetery Road and Kathy Drive, there's going to be a horrible accident. There's just going to be a horrible accident there. And I really think that we need council to rule on who owns what property, whether it's the state, whether it's the town, or whether it's the water company. I really think we need a ruling. And that's it for me.
I'll address that with Brian. Figure something out. I don't know how we would do that, but I know Brian's doing all the surveying. Maybe we can use that to see. So, okay. No problem, Karen.
That's it.
Brian's almost done with all the surveying work along Holbrook for the road reconstruction.
Yes,
So, I mean, we'll have some actual documents to
some
work off of.
boundaries.
Yeah, we'll have something. Thank you, Karen. Len? Well, Len's taking a pass on his last ever try. Al?
I just want to thank Len also for his service. He's always conducted himself with professionalism and class and everything he's done in the public realm, political arena. I wish him, Tori, and the girls all the best of luck at Bethel. He's been a great colleague and more importantly, a great friend. So stay in touch. We hope to see you, Len.
Thank you, Al. Emery?
I have to do Len's names last, because I'll probably cry. First of all, I wanted to say it was kind of embarrassing to hear about what was going on with the WPCA. As a co-chair of that committee, today was the first time that I heard about this. And as we're in the breaks, I did text Walter Rogers, and it will be taken care of. I'll be working with him and John Lugosi on this to get the matter taken care of expediently. I do agree with culture and arts. This is pretty much a slap in the face. The guy went ahead and did it without behind their backs. I agree with Mr. Stanek as well, that we should talk to them and see if they could change their date. The dead trees for public, on hold work, Public Works is doing the best that they can. On our side, they are trying to work with Oxford as well, but you know, as it's a state road, it's a town road, so Public Works is out doing the best they can, but I'm hoping Brian can give us, where the trees are, who owns the trees, and we can take care of it.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. And just so Karen, that you know, Public Works meets the second Monday of every month, so if you have any questions, the board and Tony are always there to answer any questions. Okay. And the WPCA meets the first Monday of every month as well here. I missed the June meeting if that took place at the June meeting, so I missed that because I was stuck in Boston. On land,
God, here we go.
shut up, Noah. 11 years. I wish you the best of luck.
Trish?
You don't want to talk anymore?
No, Anne Marie gave me the
Okay.
shut-off switch.
Um,
Is the call in the back, Ryan? Oh, she left the room.
I was sorry I was a few minutes late, but it was really nice to see the Seymour cheerleaders win another state championship, and we were able to give them a few minutes of our time tonight to honor them. So congratulations to them. And Len, best of luck to you. I as well feel honored to have served with you and worked with you on a number of things over the past many years. So I wish you and your family the best of luck.
Thank you, Trish. Bri, is there anything that we missed? Mrs. McMurray, is there anything that you'd like to add to the proceedings and to the record?
Oh!
Congratulations. She shared the news with us last week in Town Hall, so it's very exciting.
So happy news.
So it was a good thing to have. She got to walk up and down the hall and tell everybody. It brought a little joy to
What's
Town
the
Hall,
due
which is
date?
great. And as Leanne and I talked about, my birthday's January 22nd, so we're hoping for a 22nd birth. And we've already decided that it's going to be Anthony Kurt McMurray. After myself and Tony Caserta. We've decided we're hijacking some names. So, but no, that's a great piece of news. Since Leanna works so closely with us and she's doing such an excellent job as town clerk, I thought it'd be nice for her to share that with all of us.
Absolutely.
So, Rory, anything we've missed? No? Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's never
beat
happened
me.
before. All right, motion by Anne Marie, second by Trish. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, chair votes aye, motion passed. Close the meeting at 8:35 PM.